Did you have a good lunch? Food is love, right? So, yeah, we're getting so much food here, you know. We've got so much spiritual food, right? So rich, and it gets better. It's getting better. So really hang in there, you know, and I think that by the time we arrive at 6 o'clock, we'll be begging him to go on for 2 more hours. Please, please don't stop, okay? We should have that spirit, right? And so let's again welcome Reverend Young.
네. 이제 유럽에 와서
Now that I've come to Europe, I could realize the heart of here, our unified heart of our members. So by becoming one centered on God, by becoming one centered on our true parents, I notice there is also a level, we have limitations we have to fight, but there are things, sometimes we have internal battles as well, but once we rely on God, then the spiritual battle and the spiritual providence happens. So in America, I received an email yesterday from that America was very dark because, as you guys know very well, there were a lot of problems with things that happened in America with the Messiah as well, you know. But now they've become a bit more bright because they have also realized how to be able to live, how they should be able, how they should change their lives, how they should become one with God. So they slowly brightened up, the members. So then now centered on. Now at the moment, I'm trying to create a program in details that will explain how they're trying to make a program in America that will explain how we can become one with the God. And again, with that same program, we will also use it as well in Africa and America in September. It will there will be like some kind of instant meeting, like debates going on, explaining how we can change and grab God's characteristics. So in the past, we were living on we're living a satanic life centered on Satan. So it was a bit like us playing with Satan. There were so many things like that. So now at the moment, Satan's world has all broken, really. So fundamentally broken, sorry. And so basically, our own life is changing for the good. So just like I said before, there are 5 things for the mission of the Messiah. Do you remember? What was the first one? It was find the truth. It was to find the truth and become one with that. So I said that earlier. So basically, finding the truth is about completing being one with God, complete, and then be able to find the truth, the path of the truth, and proclaim it.
Father did that by finding text.
And then the true Father did that by finding 3 text books. Then secondly, he had to recreate and complete Eve. How did he have to do that? Basically, by finding the true mother here, the chosen true mother, and then help her to grow up from the different stages. Do you remember from the daughter position to the position of a wife of God, which means basically she has become one with God. And in the foundation day, she'll be standing as a completed Eve again. So what is the recreation? So there are many things. So then just a little bit is remaining actually for True Mother to be completed. What was the third one again? So basically, all the people born from at the time of Adam and after, be it from the spiritual world as well as the earthly world, to be completed and become back bonded with God. So, from this time, I'm going to explain you how he will do the first one, which is to liberate the complete the liberation and freedom of spiritual world. In 1961, on the 15th of May, he founded 36 couples. And once he found these 36 couples, there were three things he had to do. The first form of, there were three positions: first form, second form, third form. Why did he say 36? Why did he call them 36 couples? Why did he choose that number? Because what does it mean providentially? So if we look at the story of Joseph, so basically all the descendants after Adam, all the family of Adam, how many people, do we know how many people were there? If we look at it, up to Joseph, we did not see that much. We did not know. But the true father said that Adam had 36 families. He's basically the direct family of Adam, created 36 other families. And because of these 36 families, we had to also as well create, symbolically also choose 36 couples and restore that. So the 36 couple have three forms. The first one, the first reason to be there. So, there are three types basically. Firstly, those who were already married, they also received the blessing. There were 12 of them. The second 12 were people that were actually as fiancé. What does that mean? They were all fiancé. So it's like a man before getting married, but he knew a wife, he knew someone. So before marrying as well, again the lady, she already kind of knew sexual life. So these 12 were a bit like Keya Kajong, which basically is people that were kind of fiancé, already knew each other. And the third, Mihon Kajong, which are people, families that have never been married or never had virgins. So basically, on the position of, they were in the position of purity, completely pure, people that have never known man or women. So these were the third and last 12 couples, which form the 36 couples. So in these 36 couples, there were three types: the first type and the second type and the third type of these 12 families. They created one type of family and one type of blessing, which was the 36 blessing. And there is basically to restore all types of human, kinds of human human beings in the whole world that have had different types of levels in their lives. So basically, he arranged in such a way that it's possible for the whole world to be blessed. Do you understand? So that's the meaning of the 36 couples. So it's basically from everyone, he's all the world, bringing all the different types of people from all over in a representative 36 couples, and basically by blessing them, they actually represent the fact that the whole world, all type of people can be forgiven and blessed, and can join in that kind of blessing. Did you know that? So there's 36. From these 36 couples, he created all types of blessing. There were blessings from family, the church, and then the nation, the world level, and then finally up to this Messiah, Chonegok level. So basically, this has expanded, as you can see, from nation, world, and cosmos. So from the 2010, on the September 5th, True Father, after the Golden Anniversary and Seonghwa Festival, he created a big coronation, golden. He created coronation, which basically was for the rebirth and blessing on the individual level. It's for us on the individual level to be reborn. So God, basically, has come down on the earth, and now after substantially coming down to us and being able to even have a palace here on this and enter his own palace here on earth, from now on, God, a world centered on God, will happen, will continue, will expand, will appear. So basically, it's a God coming down and substantializing himself on the earth. So then the Golden Wedding Anniversary, it was basically the resurrection of blessing to reborn on the family and national level. So basically, what he did was he used his own children as well to help in this blessing, which basically before that it was not. Before that, it was just our true parents, and all of us were just the children. But now he's even given, after this 50 years anniversary, he also gave us the possibility to be like true parents, and also be able to even be able to also stand in the position of parents for our own children. So, for example, we have been registered as children of God at this time. And after that, he did the Seonghwa Festival, and which basically means it was a blessing to reborn, to have a rebirth of eternal life. What's the meaning again? The Seonghwa Festival? We always talk about the Seonghwa. So what does it mean, the Seonghwa Festival? Just say with confidence, it's all right. So as the festival of Seonghwa, it's basically basically to change completely the fact that it's not going to be anymore to restore completely what Satan had in his hand and change it basically back to God. Now, because God is here on earth, everything that Satan had and has been changed to heaven, to God. So everything is now returned, and everything has become now God's hold. It belongs to God. So of course, during the Songhwa, so before Adam, it's basically bringing us back to before Adam and Eve had fallen. So if we are trying to understand even clearer, Adam and Eve, it was about it was even to the point where before the time when Adam and Eve heard or known about the God's word of not eating of the fruit of evil, good and evil. So it's even before that point. So if we have to explain a bit further, in other words, so when they gave they were given that order of not eating the fruit, Lucifer was there. When they received that order, did you know that? So of course, when they received that, they were also getting temptation.
Already.
They were already being tempted by Lucifer when they received that order. But when they were asked not to eat before, that was when. So basically, when they had not received the order, it was because Lucifer had not even started tempting them. So it was basically their own pure life before, their own. When they received, they had already been touched by Lucifer, being tried. They've already been tempted by Lucifer, and of course that's when God came and gave them the advice of not eating the fruit. So then when they got that, command or order or advice, it was when they were tempted. But before, they did not have that kind of, they did not have any command. So then Songhwa brings us back to that part of life. Basically, brings us back to the original Adam and Eve before they were even given any commandment.
No trace.
When they had no trace of being touched or being given any temptation by Lucifer. Do you understand? So it was a time when they were not at all touched by any fallen habits, and also not even touched or tempted at all. So Songhwa brings us back to that level. So that's what the Songhwa does. It brings us back there, which basically helps us to grow from that position upward. So which means, for example, a human being that had never been in the fallen, had never gone through these fallen natures, would have just grown normally and continued their life. So that is what Songhwa festival brings us to. Brings us to that position. Understand, yeah? So the Songhwa festival, there are three. It's not Songhwa, it's Songhwa. There are three things. So first, the realization of being born. Secondly, it's also about marrying, the willingness to marry, and the willingness to die. These three things are part of the festival of Songhwa. So when we just think about the death, then that's Songhwa. So, if we think about this, so Sunghwa and Songhwa is different. Do you understand?
Festival includes three things.
He said we have to change that. The slide is wrong. It's Songhwa and not Sunghwa. So Sunghwa here is the festival of death, or the festival after for rebirth. But Songhwa, I'm going to repeat it again. So Songhwa, there are three things that enter in that. There's three things in the Songhwa. First, the birth. There is birth, there is marriage, and there is death. These are the three things that come in Songhwa festival. In these three things, if you just remove the death, if you take away the death, and then just leave, then it becomes a Songhwa ceremony, and not festival. Do you understand now? Yes? Do you understand? It's the difference between Songhwa festival and Songhwa ceremony. So, in the Messiah, for the Messiah,
We did the same ceremony.
we
When people pass away, we did the same ceremony as outside people.
So, for example, during the Songhwa ceremony, we don't just do the same way as the outside people do. But because of our true parents, after they became kings of kings, because they could overcome and get to some victories and level, then of course we also were able to change different. Instead of doing like before, we were doing just like outside people. But now, because of our true parents, the Songhwa ceremony has changed. Even when Hyun Junim died, after Hyun Junim died. So now, because we are in the era of true parents that has become the kings of kings, we are now back in the situation of we needed again. We don't need. So basically, we need to just develop from this. We need to go back to the era before Adam and Eve even had any temptation coming from Lucifer. So that's the Songhwa festival. Yes, understand? You have to understand that very clearly. So Songhwa is basically without any idea of the fallen any fallen trace, any trace of fallen nature. So it's not about it's not just about dying. It's about someone living, marrying, and also dying, but at the level of Adam before even the temptation. You understand? So the completion of human beings in the spirit world, there was three types. There was the family, the family level, the nation level, and the world level. And these three levels together has brought us up to the level of the Songhwa ceremony. So it's a ceremony where all of us, all over the world, can receive. All the human beings can be restored after they die. Yeah? Did you understand? So basically, there are different types of levels in blessing. So the highest, up to the highest, he has completed all the different types of blessing. He has blessed the people on the earth, and then he has also created a way, an environment in such a way that even dead people can be blessed. So the problem is, when they come on God's side, the human beings by themselves have to try and be like God. They have to try and basically they have to do their portion of responsibility to look like God and be like God. And that's the kind of effort you have to do. Do you understand? Please answer well. If you don't know, say no, and then I'll keep asking questions. So, of course, he's created an environment where every type of person can be restored. So then the spiritual blessing, and the spiritual and earthly the spiritual blessing was in 1995, in August 24th. He created a way at that time so that the blessed family can receive spiritual blessing. At that time, he blessed the couples that were already in the spirit world. So he made the spiritual blessing. So basically, souls, people in heaven, people who believed, who had a religious belief in the past, he opened a way so that those spiritual leaders and Christians, whoever were there, can be able to receive the blessing even though they were dead. So it's basically and then later on, it was spiritual people with earthly blessing. He created that kind of second blessing in 1984. So that was the first time that ever a spiritual being could kiss an earthly being. Who was it? Do you remember? Heung-jin. Moon Hun-suk was the person, their couple. They kissed. She was on earth. They got married. That was open when they got married. And that was in 1984 on the 2nd of February, on 20th of February. He blessed this time on married singles in the spiritual world. He opened that path. So, if, for example, there was some blessed couples that were pregnant before, and then somehow those children could not be born, or they had died before, in Cheonpyeong, of course, they are seen as unmarried single people. And at that time in Cheonpyeong, they had a blessing for them. So, of course, we know there are some people that died, some kids that died in the womb. Or some of them, maybe they just stayed for a few months on earth and then they died. There's so many kinds of situations. Anyways, even they came actually to be able to be born on the earth and live on the earth, but somehow they died before they could live a proper life, and were unmarried, of course. So he opened that path in Cheonpyeong for them to be able to get married. There might be some people here that were married as well, spiritually. There are some people, maybe their second generation died before they were born. Maybe you have that, and they now got married. Here in London, we don't have. They will be. In Canada, I'm just going to give one story. For example, the leader of Canada, the continental leader of Canada, and Shi Jinim, they are living together. the Hijinim died, but the leader of, but the daughter, of the Canadian, the Canadian Continental leader, and the daughter are living together, even though he's dead. So, for example, children under the 16 years were also open to the blessing at the year 2000. So any children under the years of 16 that couldn't receive the blessing on the 13th of February 2000, they got the chance to be blessed. So every type of spiritual being as well had the chance this time, thanks to our true parents, to have the blessing. Understand? So he created all types of blessings, all the different types of levels, so that not only the people on earth, but also in the spirit world, from the very little child that could not be born, or from people that could, to the people that had believed through parents and could not have the chance to get married, could get blessed. So in reality, this kind of this kind of people even were created as couples. So, of course, as the Messiah, that's the kind of path he is completed. So I've just finished everything about the human being's completion. So the first lecture will be, what's the first thing about the Messiah's mission? It's about completing our God, completion of God, and the liberation of God. How should he do this? I told you before. How do we have to do it? How does he have to complete God? He has to, if he doesn't create a path for human beings to be able to be completed, there will not be no way that God can be completed. He has to create a way for God, for the human beings here on earth to be completed and grow, and in that way, God as a parent will be able to be completed. And who did that is our true parents. So, just like he did, True Mother, for example, he helped True Mother to go through the 8 stages, from the daughter up to the level of the wife of God, and using his own body, God entered into him, and then he became now God has become completed through him and his family. I told you that before, but again, to be for completion, it has to, for someone to be completed, it has to be through the partner. So, of course, when there will be a give and take action, you can generate energy in pairs. So God as well, when he gets a partner, then he can also be able to be completed. Invisible God must meet visible God. A God that cannot be seen should be able to be represented in someone as a visible God. Then he'll be able to see. So the God we don't see, being seen as God, who is it? Who is the God we see? We met him. Who is he? It's true Father. So, for example, we met the Father. We met our true Father, who has helped God to complete Himself, so from an invisible to a visible being. So basically, it's God's kinship that is happening now. I told you about it in Eve's course. And the on January 13, 2001, True Mother succeeded and completed this level so that she could become she could basically be able to have this enthronement ceremony as a completed Eve. And then on the 2006, it was completed with the. So I'm going to continue because I've explained that before. I'm just going to explain this again. This is the result of God's completion. I'm going to say it. What's the day that this will happen? Is the foundation day, the complete completion. It doesn't. There's not much left, is there? Yeah. So you guys have heard it. So now you know the concept of night, God of night and God of day. Completely. You'll be able to understand it now. So these days our true Father this time speaks a lot about God of night and God of day. So what's the God of night again? And what's the God of day? The God of day, I know, of course, it's True Father. But who is the God of night? True Father said that when he speaks about this, he says, if you just understand it as a conclusion, you will not be able to understand. He said that basically, you have to understand it little by little, little by little. You have to understand everything from level to level to be able to completely understand what is the God of night and the God of day. You have to understand detailedly. So in reality, myself, for me to be able to speak about these words, of course I did study history of our church, but I also felt it a lot. These days, when True Father calls us Fundoke, when I look at the audio materials, every audio material, he has it right in front of him. And then someone else has to do dictation. While he's looking at the writings on the screen. And of course, while I'm dictating what he's saying, I can understand 70% of what he's saying, but I have to be looking exactly at the writings. Even though I do the dictation for his